exploring tints, tones and shades. Here's some resources you might need.
Hello, today we are going to look at tints, tones and shades. So for this task you're going to need a piece of paper. I'm working on A5 today, a ruler and a pencil to get started, and you are then going to need some paint. I'm using watercolours today. You can choose what type of paint you use. You'll need a mixing tray, some water and a paintbrush. Okay, so to get started with your pencil, I'd like you to draw 3 grids, and I'm going to draw mine 14 centimetres and then divide every 2 centimetres. So I have 7 sections, and you need to draw this 3 times. So I'm going to just doesn't necessarily have to be neat, because you can cut these out if you want to present in your book. There we go. I'll press a little bit harder, but if you want to just press a little bit lighter so you don't necessarily see the pencil marks, that'll make your work look a little bit neater. If I press a bit harder so you can see my work a little bit more clearly. There we go. Okay, and so for each of these grids we're going to learn about tint, tones and shades. And to get started, we'll start with the tints. You need to choose a hue or a colour. So a hue is a pure colour, so it's the colour as you find it. And I'm going to use red for this task. Okay, so with your hue, you can paint the first section of your first grid as neatly as you can. And this is going to demonstrate our understanding of tints. So for those of you who haven't guessed, or for those of you who don't know, a tint is how a hue can gradually become lighter by using white. So this is quite a nice exercise to do actually. So make sure you've got a mixing tray, and then what we're going to do is we're going to gradually add white to our hue to create a tint. Okay, so on your mixing tray, mix your hue with a small amount of white paint. Okay, that might be too much first time. So we just want the colour to gradually change. It shouldn't be a dramatic change in the second box or the second section. There. And then paint your next box. Okay, And then the same again, add a little bit more white. And if you're finding that your colour looks too similar, then you need to adjust it. By either adding more white or more of your hue. If you find that you can add some more sections to the end of your grid, there's no reason why you can't just continue adjusting your colour to create your tints. And again, if it's looking too similar, either add some more of the white or some more of the hue, depending on whether it's not changing light enough or dark enough. Okay, so there is an example of tints, how you can change a hue to become lighter using white. Okay, the next grid is going to show an understanding of tones. So a tone is how a hue changes using grey. So if we mix up a grey to start with, so using white and black on your mixing tray, and we're going to use that to adjust our hue. So I'm going to continue with red, but it doesn't matter what colour you choose. So if you've chosen a different colour, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to continue with red, and I'm going to start with my hue, my pure hue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gradually add grey to my hue to change the tone. Okay, so that is an example of how we can adjust the tone of our painting or our hue using grey. And then lastly, for our last grid, we're going to show shades. So in case you haven't guessed, to adjust the hue of our shade, we're going to use black. Or to adjust the shade of our hue, sorry, we're going to use black. So we're going to start again with our pure hue, Again, I'm using red. I would probably stick with the same colour just so you can see the difference a little bit more clearly. But there's nothing stopping you experimenting with other colours after you finish this exercise. Okay, so my first box is filled in, and then gradually I'm going to add black to my, I'll put that in there. I'm going to add black to my hue. So I'm going to start with a nice pure red straight from the palette. And then this time you need to be super gradual, because if you put too much black in to start off with, you're going to go too dark, and it's difficult to reverse. So try not to put too much black in to start with. Okay, and then just start painting your sections one at a time. This should be a really gradual change in your hue. So if it's looking too similar, just try and add some more over the top of your original hue, like so. Okay, and then gradually add in a little bit more black. This is a lot harder to do than creating a tint, in my opinion, just because it's very difficult to layer back over the top if you do change the colour too drastically early on. Okay, now these are looking very similar, so I'm just going to add a little bit more black to my hue and paint back over the top. So as it's slightly darker and there's more of a difference there, I'm happy with that. So when you get to the end of your grids, it should never be the case that that's completely grey, that's completely white, or that's completely black. It will always have an element of your original hue, even if you can't see it that clearly. And the same goes for painting. When you're painting with black, it's very easy to create a very flat cartoon-like painting when originally you wanted something looking more realistic and 3D, because black outlines can have that effect. So if you remember to always mix with the colours or the hues that you're using, that shouldn't be an issue. And that's my final shade, and you can see it's not completely black. There still is an element of the red underlying. So give it a go. Remember, you can choose any hue to start with. I chose red. Have a go yourself at creating an example of tints, tones and shades.